everything as perfectly as I can, but I'm at the mercy of the damage. And you know, there's lots of variables, but at the end of the day, I messed up using one of these. Okay. Ooh. I'm back with another dent repair, and this time it's not a BMW, but it's a Tesla Model Y. So this dent here is one of the most common dents that we get to fix on a Tesla. I don't know why, but they just seem to always come through with a dent on the tailgate. So I'm going to show you guys how I repair this dent with a paintless dent removal techniques from start to finish. So grab a brew and enjoy. Okay, so I'm going to run through this damage really quickly so you can understand it a little bit better. So first of all, I need to know what the panel's made of. Putting the magnet on there, we can tell it's steel, okay? So it's a steel panel, okay? This is the point of impact that's in purple, so that's where whatever's hit it has caused the damage. When it's been pushed in, it's created this kind of bulge at the top, and this is called a crown. This is where all the locked in tension is. So this needs to be tapped down so that this can release the tension in the point of impact area and then help the dent come out. The size of the dent, top to bottom, is 160 mil. The size side to side is 190 mil. There's there's one body line that's been affected, and that's here. It's been quite badly affected as well. It's really deformed. And then the hardest part of this repair is this panel edge here. It's quite difficult to repair because this is a single panel, but the panel edge is triple thickness with 2 lots of glue. So it's super strong and then very weak. Any kind of movement on here tends to put a little line within the panel, and this is super difficult to fix. But apart from that, it is totally fixable. I've fixed many of these, and a lot of other technicians have fixed these very successfully. So yeah, it's going to be a nice repair to do and interesting for you guys. Also, one last thing, I need to be able to get to the back of it to repair the dent. So I need to strip the tailgate trim, the inner trim for access. So you might be thinking, why am I going to all the trouble of measuring it and putting in all these factors when I'm not going to be telling you the price? Well, I will tell you an example of the price of this repair, and it comes in at $493.80. Okay, so that is using the MTRX software that we use to price a job up. By using all of these factors, we can pop it into the software, and from there this generates a price, and then we can go ahead and repair it. Okay, so how am I going to start this repair? So I've had a good look at it, I've inspected inside as well, just to see what the access is like, and it is really good. So I'm going to start off by pushing at the centre, the deepest part of this dent, right on the body line as well. So I've got a screw tip, which is just a normal screw tip. I don't know if you can see that, but I've put some Tesla tape on the end. I use this kind of setup on most of my repairs when I start them off. So I'm going to pop the bar inside right onto where the body line is, right there. I'm going to put a couple of pushes on there, but at the same time warm up the area. Warming up the area will make the metal a lot more malleable and easier to work with. So once I've got a few pushes on there, I can tap down those crowns, and then the majority should start to come out on its own. But I've got to pay a lot of attention to this bottom crease here, because like I said before, that part is the hardest part of this repair. After warming up the area for around 45 seconds, this panel is nice and toasty. And using the void in the rear of the panel and using the edge as leverage, I'm aiming for the deepest part of the damage, which is just below the body line. I can't tell how strong this area is just from looking at it, so I need to give the area a few carefully placed pushes with the PDR bar, and from those few initial pushes I can tell this isn't going to be a straightforward repair, as this area is strong and not wanting to move freely at all. One of the main reasons it's putting up a fight is because of this high area, the prominent crown above the bodyline. Upon impact the panel kinked, creating this hump and withholding more panel than normal, which is stopping the free movement of the metal around and creating tension, so this needs to be dealt with. Now that I've released a bit of tension, I'll try and push a bit more out with a PDR bar, but it's still very tough. So to solve this issue and to help the repair, I need to carefully reshape it with my hammer and knockdown. Going steady and also using heat to soften up the area. My aim is to flatten this part and blend it into the rest of the panel and the swooping concave area. But you can really hear that tang noise, and that is some solid steel. Okie dokie, so I'm going to swap from this double bend screw tip bar. The reason is because of this kick. It's just a little bit awkward to put the pressure, put the leverage on there, because there's a chance it could slip. So I'm going to change to a different bar. And can you see the difference there? Sorry, see the difference? Okay, so it's straighter with a bit of a kick. But this is too sharp to start off with, so I'm going to use the Tesla tape, going to wrap it around the end of this tip, put quite a bit on there, and then this will soften the tip when I'm pushing. A slight error there. I said that the Tesla tape would soften the tip of the bar. Ooh, lovely and warm. What I meant to say is this will create a cushion between the tip of the bar and the back of the panel, and this will minimise or reduce the risk of any sharp push marks. It's always best to use Tesla tape on bare steel PDR tools anyway, until you get used to them. Okay, I don't think I'm going to go any further with that, and I'll tell you why. Because the centre of that dent is very deep, and if I keep carrying on trying to push that out, I'm going to create more work for myself, or I could even crack the paint, and that is, I do not want to crack the paint. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a lateral tension setup. Basically I'm putting two tabs, one either side of the deepest part of a dent, and then putting the LTS on there. I can then turn the knob on the end. This will pull the tabs away from each other, and that kind of pulls the metal, stretches the metal. And when it stretches the metal, it will release the tension in the centre of that dent, and it will help me lift up the centre of that dent with the bar. To stick the LTS to the panel, I'm using this collision glue by Camauto and Kiko. Next I need a suitable setup, so I have my metal medic drawer with all my favourite shiny LTS parts in there. Picking a suitable shaped tab to straddle over the bodyline, and for the LTS I'm using a small push-pull bar. And then lastly, to finish off this setup, I need to have the bar offset so I can work in the centre of the damage, so I'm adding the Metal Medic side winder blocks. And now it's time to apply the glue to the tab. So I'm going to apply this to the tab in a zigzag pattern. This will ensure that the glue is at a constant temperature before applying it to the panel. Fill in any gaps on the tab face, and once stuck to the panel, use more glue to seal the edges. I found the best way to align the LTS is to use the first tab as an anchor, adjust the other foot, and then mark the panel with a marker pen where the second tab is to be glued to. And then same as the last tab, lots of glue, fit it to the panel, seal the edges with more hot glue, and then let it set for a few minutes. Okay, here we go. Pop a adapter on there. This is called a side winder. Okay, so basically this enables me to lift the lateral tension from there to there, like that. So it gives me a better view of the damage. I'm just going to push that in, adjust it. hook it onto there first and then hook it onto the other side. Like that. Okay, just got to wait for that to set. This side's already set. Okay, so I've set this up like the professionals do it on the telly, and I'm hoping it's going to work. So I just need to re-warm the center of this dent, and then I can get back in using I'm going to go with this bar again with the Tesla tape on there. So round 2. Wish me luck.
Let's see if the centre of the damage reacts differently now that the LTS is applying lateral tension.
Wow, okay, so just by doing that has enabled me to lift that centre out. That's come out a lot easier than when I was trying it before without the LTS on there. So yeah, there you go. Well done.
There's no need to remove the lateral tension system yet because it's really helping unfold this damage. So I'm knocking down some more of a crown and bodyline edge. But I'm struggling a little bit because the threaded bar is in the way. But that's not an issue because I have fitted the offset brackets.
So I'm taking advantage of using the LTS on here. I've just swapped it around, pulling the bar downwards a bit so I can see the top of the dent, and I'm just knocking down this crown while it's under a little bit of tension. Okay, just going to pull a few low areas up, this bit here. And then this bit a bit further up. And then these bits around here. And then I'm going to use a different knockdown onto the cherry cap instead of the blunt nose leather tipped knock down. Now I'm using the other bar. Again, just picking these small areas up. And then I'm going to swap from the cherry cap to a blunt Delwyn nylon knockdown. Just going through the size of the tips, so this one's a slightly bit sharper than the cherry cap.
I'm choosing different sized head knockdowns all the time, and this is so I can manipulate the metal back into shape. Think of these like paintbrushes. Large brush heads cover a large area in one pass, superfine bristle heads are for detail.
Okay, I've just spent a small amount of time off camera just tidying up this top part here. Okay, I'll just spin this round for you. So I've just been tidying up this bit. I swapped to a different knockdown as well, so this is again a bit sharper than the white one that I was using. But there you go, look at that. Okay, so what I'm now going to do is take off the lateral tension device have another look. It's just getting in the way a little bit for me because I can't get the line board in there. So I'm going to take that out of the way, have another look and start repairing the damage below the body line.
Choosing yet another knockdown, I'm going steady to unfold this deep shouldered dent. It has come out great using the LTS, but I need to lower it back down into a shallow walled dent and then bring it back up again with the PDR bar.
Once again, I'm going to go back in there with the bar again. So I'm working below the body line this time, just around there. Just got to get some heat in the panel as well. And the reason why I warm my face up first is because I can tell when the temperature's too hot, because this takes about 20 seconds to warm up. So instead of me waiting there for ages, as soon as it gets hot enough, then I go onto the panel. That'll do. Just there. You can see how easy that's moving now. Now all the it's been pulled out and the tension, all that locked in tension's been released. Tap it down a bit more with the black knockdown.
Now this may look like I'm not getting anywhere, but trust me, it's improving with every push and tap. It just takes a lot of patience. And talking about patience, I really hope that you're enjoying this repair video so far. I'm happy with how the repair's going and I don't need the LTS anymore, so I'm going to remove one of the glue tabs. The best way to remove these is to warm up the panel and then spray it with lots of isopropyl. Then go careful with light pressure on the tab and the glue will let go eventually.
Okay, I've just swapped the direction of repair. I was struggling a little bit going that way, just trying to get in right at the edge. So I've swapped my bars, so I've gone onto this flag tip bar and just popped some Tesla tape on there. Again, I love the Tesla tape, it really does help. So I'm going to go in from the opposite way into the panel like that, and then I can get right down on this bottom edge. Okay, this is very tough, like I keep saying probably. I have managed to finish off the top. There's just a tiny little bit that I need to tap down just to rectify that. So the top part is done. The body line is pretty much there, but I just need to carry on with this bit. I did have to just nib it down a little bit, because what happened with all the pushing up and tapping down with sharp tap downs and bars, it just made the paintwork a bit hard to read with the reflection source. So I'll give it a slight nib down and a quick polish up. So I'm going to carry on with this bottom bit and hopefully show you the finished results in a couple of minutes.
Now that I'm at the finesse stage of the repair, I need to be even more accurate with my movements. So I've picked one of my screw tip knockdowns and attached a sharper screw tip. This has a very fine needle-like end, and this one isn't made from steel, but it's made from a hard plastic, called a peak tip by Anson Tools from the USA. This knockdown and tip combination is amazing for lowering small high areas, and that accurate it can reshape the factory orange peel, something I wish I had more of at this point. But anyway, I'll keep struggling on. From knocking down to pushing up, switching between the two techniques to bring this area up as clean as possible. Pushing the small low areas up, I'm using 2 select bars for this, the small red handled flag tip and my long sharp pointed PDR bar from the beginning of the repair, but this time without the Tesla tape on the end. Again, accuracy is absolutely essential to keep this repair as clean as possible and to repair this damage in good time as well. With all that work being carried out in such a small section, the paint was losing its reflection. This is due to all the fine picking and tapping as you'd expect, so I had to flat this small area down, which was around the bodyline, and then give it a light polish up. This takes a very fine layer off of a lacquered surface and smooths out the dimples which I created, and resets the surface, giving me a better reflection of my PDR board. And then I can finish off this bodyline once and for all.
Right then, I am getting there, honestly I am. So I'm onto the bottom part now, so I'm going to use a very, very fine flag tip. There you go, if you can see it's very thin. So what I can do is I can get it in behind, right into the bottom part of this panel. And then what I need to do is just need to go very carefully and just nibble away right at the bottom and just gradually bring this out. Okay, I'm now at a point where I'm going to be fixing this edge. So this is triple skinned and that is the hardest part of the repair and the toughest part of this panel. This is single skin, so it's all nice and flexible. When I've been fixing this, it's been flexing like this. And every time it flexes, it creates a little line. Another reason why it's also made this line is because again, I'm using my hands, but when it's been impacted, the dent's gone in like that, and so has the edge. So when I've started lifting the dent out, the dent has come out, but the edge has stayed like that. So we need to bend the edge like that, okay? So what I do is I use a chock, like quite a large knockdown, or a sharper knockdown. It's a bladed knockdown with some Tesla tape on there. Get behind the panel like that, give it a good warm up, and then very carefully just tap it out. This should pull the crease out a little bit or enough, and then I can blend it all back in. So that's the idea. I've done that in the past and it has worked. So let's see if it works this time.
If I confused you with my YMCA dancing hand diagrams, here's what I mean.
Okay, let's see what happens.
I'm placing the tip of the knockdown at the furthest point in from the edge, which is the triple skinned part, trying to shock and manipulate the frame back to its original position and hoping that the outer skin moves and reduces the current crease issue. This method is really working. Tapping from behind has really helped lift that stubborn area up. But now it needs tapping back down in a few places to blend the area back into shape. So I've picked another knockdown, and this is made from a Delrin hard plastic. I've blunted the end with a bit of sandpaper to my liking, and this is a basic tool that you get in any beginner PDR kit. It's great for this part as it'll lay a small section back down with minimal risk of leaving sharp tap marks like the sharper knockdowns could do.
Okay, so far it's working. Just done that bit there, so that much.
To make it a little bit easier to see where I'm working, I've highlighted the area that I'm lifting up. You'll notice the reflection of those lines pinched together, that's showing the metal lift up, and also you'll see that the low crease disappears. It's quite hard to do it with your hands backwards. Spot on. Picking yet another knockdown as I need to be a little more precise. No room for error using this knockdown on the edge of the panel, because if I make a mistake such as hit it with force and the tip is on the single skin instead of a triple skin, I'll create a super sharp but tiny dent which will be so noticeable, and trust me, these are a pain to fix, and it also puts more time on the repair. And this is where I'm at. That frame edge has been massively reduced and I'm very happy with the progress so far. But there's still a few slight areas that I needed to finish off, so I'll keep repeating tapping the edge from both sides and also using a small thin bar to pick up any small low areas on the panel skin until I'm happy with the finish. There's just one more area that needs fixing, and it's the secondary crease dent towards the centre of the tailgate. This is a very simple repair, and with a few accurate pushes it's all fixed. I've highlighted the repair area so you can see this dent disappear. I'm working from the bottom to the top, smoothing that shallow crease out. But then, whilst I was polishing up the tailgate, I noticed an imperfection. So I went to fix it, but I messed up.
Okay, looking good. That is the end of the repair. I've got mixed reactions on this one. The damage has come out amazingly well. This edge is really repaired very well by tapping it from the back and tapping it down on top, just laying out that crease. The only slight issue is the last couple of taps, just trying to rectify a tiny little area. It really bothered me. It just stuck out from the rest of the repair. So I was tapping it down with a steel knockdown and a tiny bit of paint's come off. So I've touched it in best I can. There is a few other scratches, score marks from the impact. I'm not trying to justify anything at all. It is a repair at the end of the day, and I've done my absolute best to save this from the body shop from filler and painting a full tailgate. Just a tiny, tiny £0.5 chip. That is the end of the repair. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. These are a very, very, very difficult repair to carry out. So if you guys have got a Tesla and you get a dent like this, if a PDR technician's willing to take it on, respect them. Okay, I'm Martin Sadler from Dent-Remover. See you on the next one. Cheers.